A discussion about limiting beliefs. I know that each and every one of us has a series, not just one, but several limiting beliefs that handicap our progress and stop us from really reaching our true potential. Let me give you just a little bit of an example of a limiting belief that I had, that I have struggled with, that was identified, right? Sometimes you need a friend to just tell you where you're at and what belief that you're having that's not serving you. So last night, I was having dinner with a friend and I was telling him about my health journey, and he said, Nate, you have a limiting belief about yourself, about your body and about what you can achieve. He said, I've watched you achieve incredible things. Going from professor to real estate guru, I mean, that is a huge jump. It's a kind of leap that a lot of people could never make. Most people could never make that leap. But I did it, and I've overcome so many challenges, but yet I have this belief that I'm never really going to be ripped, that I'm never really going to be strong. I have this belief that I can't do it, right? That I'm, for whatever reason, never going to see my abs. Like, I've never seen my abs. Even when I cut down my weight, I've never seen those abs before. And he said, look, Nate, why are you telling yourself this story? And it made me think about my own limiting beliefs in this area, and I'm determined to conquer this. I've got all kinds of goals and plans to up my game in terms of my physical health and well-being, and I absolutely plan to do that. But it starts with destroying that belief, and having someone identify that for me was a powerful experience last night, and I want to do that for you today. What are some of your limiting beliefs when it comes to wealth? What is it that you're telling yourself? What story are you telling yourself that makes you stop, that makes you take pause, that makes you not go after your dreams for financial freedom? Now, let me give you a few examples. I mean, so for instance, a lot of people, they want to get wealthy, they want all this stuff, right? But then they never go after it. They find excuses. They keep finding reasons to delay, and it's often because they have some limiting belief about wealth. So, for example, you might have this idea that, hey, if I become wealthy, I'm going to be lonely. It's lonely at the top, some people say, right? If I get wealthy, is my family still going to love me? Are, so many different things can enter your mind because of where you're at with that, right? So you might have this idea that people will be jealous and resentful, and that's sabotaging you. Maybe you have this idea that wealth is going to corrupt you, and you're going to lose your soul, right? You're going to lose um, so much of what makes you you. So there's so many different, money is evil, money is corrupt. There's so many reasons why people don't want, they think they want to become wealthy, but there's some limiting belief that makes them ultimately handicap themselves and not go after it, not put the time in, not develop themselves financially. And so that's what I want you to take a minute to do after you listen to this recording. I want you to list out what are some of the possible limiting beliefs that you have in your life. What are some of the things that you're telling yourself? What are some of the stories that you're telling yourself that are hindering your success in finances? Write out whatever you can think of, anything that comes to your mind, and really spend some time on this, because the first thing that comes to your mind may not be all the full package, right? It may not be your full limiting belief. And once you've identified some of these limiting beliefs in your life, the next step is to shred them. to shred them up. You might I want you to challenge those. So the first thing you got to do is really write out, what is that limiting belief and why do I have it, right? Kind of identify the source. Maybe it's a conversation you had with your parents when you were young. Maybe, it's something your friend has told you. I mean, there's a lot of different possible reasons for why you might have this limiting belief that's holding you back. So you got to figure out what is the source, and kind of flesh out why it's there, and what is it? What is that limiting belief? Then write about how it's holding you back. Write about, how, for instance, with me, I mean, this talk about, write down all the reasons why it's hurting you. Like, for me, this belief that I'll never be like really strong and shredded and um, have abs, right? I mean, that's really hurt my physical health. I have these beliefs that I can't make it, so that's, it's made me gain weight. It's made me, just not really feel as attractive. So you got to start like dialing in what exactly are all the things that's doing, that limiting belief. In what ways is it stopping you? Because you got to create that pain for continuing to have the limiting belief. Tony Robbins always talks about, it's the pain pleasure spectrum, right? You've got to make continuing where you're at so painful that um, ultimately you're going to be motivated to change that limiting belief. Again, if it's painful enough, you're going to go and do whatever you can to change it. So write about all the ways it's hurting you, and then increase the pleasure, right? Increase the pleasure. Write a paragraph about, hey, if I were able to overcome this limiting belief in my life, what pleasure, what joy, what could this ultimately bring to me as a result of shredding that limiting belief? So, for example, for me, and where I'm at with this limiting belief that I just identified with my health, right? I think about all the diseases, all you know, the the Alzheimer's that runs in my family, the diabetes, the cancer. I mean, if I don't overcome this limiting belief and really take charge of my body and become an excellent steward, you know, I stand to lose out on a lot, right? So those are some of the pain points. And then I start thinking, all right, if I can overcome this limiting belief, what can that give me? I mean, I can be shredded, I can have abs, I can feel confident in my body, um, I can hike with my kids, go biking, skiing, I can run and not be tired. I can, what are all these benefits? How am I going to feel? What kind of energy am I going to feel, right? And in a financial world, think about what are some of the time freedoms, right? What are you going to do with having that freedom and flexibility? How could that impact your relationships? How could that influence your ability to give back? How could that influence um, all these other areas of your life? How could you, you know if you had your time freedom, how could that impact your health, right? How could the flexibility impact your chance to go on vacations? How could having passive income in your life, impact the way other people see you, the influence that you can have? Start writing out, what are all these advantages to get to shredding and destroying that limiting belief. And then, once you've created the pain for keeping the limiting belief and pleasure in getting rid of it, then it's like make a plan. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna start doing. Create those affirmations that we talked about. Um, so I'm starting a new challenge, for example, for my fitness. Um, Run 2 miles, lift weights every day, exercise 90 minutes a day. I mean, that's a pretty bold goal, especially for someone as busy as I am, right? But that's, and I have these affirmations that I'm going to shout out. Like here's one I just created. My body is a gift from God, and I'm an excellent steward. I'm a fat burning machine, and it's melting off my body, right? So what are some of those affirmations that you're going to make in regards to your finances? Um, so I'd start writing out some of those things that you want to achieve, and start saying it every day. And this friend of mine, he had the vision board idea, right? That I gave him that idea, I believe in, and he put that he wanted a Tesla, and then all of a sudden manifested in his life. All of a sudden he had someone that said, "Hey, I need someone to take care of my Tesla while I'm out of the country," and he's like, "I'll do it," right? And so now he's driving a Tesla for a really small monthly payment. I mean, this guy is manifesting like this dream house now that he's going to make an offer on. He's manifesting all these things are coming from his dream board, from his from his affirmations that he's come to really believe. Again, that's a big part of it, is really believing the things that you're saying, right? And having a concrete plan that you're going to do every day in real estate, right? It's like, hey, when am I going to find the properties? When am I going to carve out that time every day to do those finding activities? So, yeah, so you got to create the plan and have some accountability. I have an accountability partner that every day I text him, what am I going to do? What's my plan? And so we hold each other accountable to our plan. And having that extra accountability is going to give you that drive to go forward and to make it happen and to do the things that you've set out to do. You got to have that plan and that accountability. So yeah, those are the big steps that I can see. Again, identifying it, writing about where you got that limiting belief, creating, ideally through a writing activity, create an idea of how painful it is to keep it. What are the repercussions of holding on to that limiting belief? And then writing about all the joy, all the happiness, all the pleasure you can get in eliminating that. And then create an action plan, some affirmations, a vision board to help you eliminate that you're looking at every day and reciting, and then a plan that you're going to be accountable to with an accountability partner that you're going to work on every day, every week, that you're holding your feet to the fire to get rid of that. You might even write down your limiting belief and then just rip it up, just like rip it to shreds, right? That is powerful. Just that physical act of just tearing up that paper that you wrote that limiting belief down could be so powerful. But go through this process. Get rid of those limiting beliefs, because honestly, so much of what is holding you back in success in business or real estate is because you have these limiting beliefs that you may not even you may not even be fully aware of the huge consequences that it's having in your life. So I challenge you to do this. Go turn things around. You're going to be so glad you did. Thank you so much for joining, listening in, and let's go knock out those limiting beliefs. Just absolutely shred them. They are not serving you, and you can do so much better. Thank you.